Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to a news cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I'm Uyi Agumofwebe, reminding our viewers that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes 276. You can download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our 247 broadcasts. The National Economic Council, NEC, has approved the establishment of a National Cotton and Textile Board to coordinate the planned resuscitation of the cotton and textile industries in Nigeria. Imo State's Governor Hope Uzodinma said this while briefing journalists at the meeting presided over by Vice President Kashim Shettima. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma said the move is aimed at boosting the economic reforms program of the current administration. Uzodinma noted that after interfacing with representatives of the cotton and textile sector, the council was satisfied with their recommendations and endorsed the establishment of a board and 6 regional officers that will coordinate the activities of the sector, leading to the renewal of the hitherto moribund cotton and textile industries.
Council considered that to make it more functional, that their proposal for a public-private partnership where government will partner with the private sector to put this sector back to order, and that whoever that will be the chairman will come from the private sector, and the body should be funded from the textile import levy currently being collected by Nigerian Customs. So Council endorsed the presentation and approved the establishment of a national office and regional offices in each of the 6 geopolitical zones.
Nigeria's Economic Council, NEC, also approved the establishment of the Green Imperative Project's GIP National Office in Abuja and regional offices across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abba Kyari, who disclosed this, said GIP will help in addressing the crisis fueled by the current system of animal husbandry in the country.
Considered the following prayers to acknowledge the GIP setting of regional offices across the 6 geopolitical zones, and also to endorse the regional offices of the Green Imperative across those states, and the states are also encouraged to participate, because what this seeks to do is to catalyze. The $1.1 billion is to draw up core investments, private sector driven, from all other investment promotions.
Meanwhile, the National Economic Council deferred discussions on the proposed establishment of state police due to time constraints during its extended meeting at the council chambers. Bayelsa State Governor Doyo Diri confirmed that the matter was on the agenda but could not be discussed due to the limited time available.
State police was part of our agenda today, but unfortunately, because of time demands, and after a very long, we have been there for a very long time now, the presentations were unable to get to that bit of it. So I can assure you that in our next meeting, that issue will be exhaustively discussed. Thank you.
Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State addressed lingering concerns surrounding the National Livestock Transformation Plan, NLTP, a key initiative aimed at curbing farmer-herder conflicts through modern ranching systems.
Has already identified all the various technical schools owned by the federal government, and they have worked on equipping the schools, and they are working now on ensuring that there are enough technical teachers in order for the program to be successful. So the minister was asking council and all the members of council, especially the state governors, to also participate in this new initiative, so that now we will continue to reduce unemployment.
The council, which held a minute of silence to honor victims of recent violent attacks in Plateau and Benue states, emphasized the growing urgency of addressing the state police initiative amid escalating security concerns nationwide. Uyi Agumofwebe,
reporting for Global Television News.
Rivers State Sole Administrator, retired Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, was expected to appear before the House of Representatives Committee overseeing the state's administration under the emergency rule, but did not attend the meeting. The committee chairman, Professor Julius Ihonvere, conducted a closed-door session with committee members lasting about 50 minutes, but declined to speak to the press afterward. While no official reason was provided for Admiral Ibas's absence, he has reportedly been scheduled to meet with the committee today in the National Assembly complex. A former Deputy Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Marshal Stanley Uwam, has approached the Federal High Court in Abuja, praying it to stop the federal government from releasing allocations accruable to the local government councils in the state to the sole administrator, retired Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas. The plaintiff, who was a lawmaker while the current Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, held sway as governor of the state, urged the court to declare that under Section 7, Subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, as well as the judgment of the Supreme Court, Ibas cannot legally appoint unelected officials as caretakers to run the affairs of the local government councils in Rivers State. In the meantime, a former governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Chibuike Amechi, says the weakness of the National Assembly opened the door for President Bola Tinubu's constitutional breach in the country. The ex-Minister of Transportation disclosed this while condemning the suspension of Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara, his deputy and lawmakers of the State Assembly. He spoke at the 9th edition of the Akinjide Adeosun Foundation's annual leadership discourse themed Fearless Leadership, a panacea for sustainable development organized in Lagos State. Rivers State Sole Administrator Ibok Ete Ibas has finally appealed to the National Assembly's ad hoc committee for additional time to adequately prepare a detailed briefing on the ongoing situation in the state, citing the fragile security and political environment under the current state of emergency. Addressing the committee at the National Assembly today, Ibas began by acknowledging the leadership of the committee and the importance of its role in upholding the democratic integrity. The Rivers State Administrator expressed regrets over his previous absence from the earlier engagements with the committee, explaining that the delay was not out of disrespect but due to urgent governance demands. A civil society group under the aegis of the Center for Human Rights and Accountability Network has advocated for the establishment of state police, saying that present security architecture appears unable to cope with rising waves of crime and criminality in the country. Director of the network in Akwa Ibom State, Otto Kong, made the call in Uyo in an interview. It argued that the introduction of state police into the policing structure of the country would address key security lapses and tackle crimes and crime prevention in Nigeria. President Bola Tinubu has directed an immediate and comprehensive overhaul of national security strategies, demanding urgent action to end the escalating violence in Benue, Borno, and Plateau states. Kekalomo Kerry has details.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who met with the security chiefs at the State House in Abuja for more than 2 hours, says the killings of innocent people in Borno, Benue and Plateau State must cease. The president, who spoke through the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, condemned the senseless targeting of innocent Nigerians. He therefore ordered a new approach to tackling the security problems.
Some of the challenges are more or less bordering on community problems. Not entirely everything is that, but of course it plays a significant role. You need to work with the communities, you need to work with the local governments, you need to work with the governors, especially the governors. President continue to direct that we should be doing that, and that's what we are able to. And we are very happy, very satisfied with the instructions and the directives given by Mr. President. He is so worried and concerned. He insisted that enough is enough, and we are working and to ensure that we restore peace and security.
The NSA says the attacker usually gets innocent citizens by planting improvised explosive device He added that the president highlighted the need to involve the local councils and state government in tackling insecurity cases.
Mr. President is insisting and working so hard to ensure that we have peace, security, and stability in our country. We gave him what is going on, and we also assured him that work is ongoing and continuous.
The issue of insecurity often is not just at higher level, it involves subunits. The federal government reiterated its commitment in restoring peace and security in the country. Kike Lomo Ukeri, Global Television News.
Thank you, Kike Lomo. Lagos State House of Assembly has summoned the chairman of the State Independent Electoral Commission, LASIEC, Justice Bola Okikiolu Igile, and the commissioners of the commission to appear before it to provide a detailed explanation regarding their plans and preparations for the forthcoming local council elections scheduled for July. During a plenary session, concerns were raised by the lawmakers regarding the perceived rushed nature of the Commission's processes and the inadequacy of the released electoral guidelines. Chairman, House Committee on Judiciary, Petitions, Human Rights and LASIEC, Oladipo Ajomale, expressed strong reservations, stating that the Commission is rushing through the process with incomplete guidelines. The National Association of Nigerian Students has called on the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, to extend its proposed mandatory drug testing initiative to political office holders and aspirants. The agency's chairman, retired Brigadier General Buba Marawa, had repeatedly proposed drug integrity tests for core members, prospective couples, and other groups as part of efforts to curb substance abuse. Mawa restated the call this week during a courtesy visit to the Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, NYC, Brigadier General Olakunle Nafiu, to the agency's headquarters in Abuja. Let's take it to Benue State now, where the Executive Council has approved the sum of 2.3 billion naira for the remodeling of the government secondary school in Ihui community for the immediate takeoff of Benue State University of Agriculture, Science and Technology. Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism, Matthew Abo, disclosed these while briefing newsmen on the outcome of the council meeting. Felicity Indere was there for Global Television.
It will be recalled that Benue State Executive Council had earlier ratified the proposal for the establishment of the Benue State University of Agriculture, Science and Technology (IHU) with the mandate on the relevant stakeholders to liaise with the National Universities Commission and the State House of Assembly for procurement processes. Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism Matthew Abu said the sum of 2.3 billion will be used for remodeling of the government secondary school IHU for immediate take-off of the institution.
We have approved the award of contracts to the tune of 2,356,551 naira only. So this is the amount of money that we are going to use to do remodel government secondary school and do preliminary things in that school so that the university will now take off.
He explained that the establishment of government-owned tertiary institution in the Benue Northeast will ensure a balance with other zones of the state. In Makudi, Felicity Ndere, Global TV News.
This is Global Television. You're watching the live broadcast of News Cycle with Uyi Agmofwebe. When the rest of the news returns, Norwegian Prime Minister visits White House, discusses Russia-Ukraine war. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the flip side of this break.
Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Well, thank you everyone for staying with us. The second part of this broadcast now returns with business, where the federal government, Securities and Exchange Commission, Africa and Middle East Depositories Associations, and other financial market stakeholders have called for accelerated collaboration to enhance capital market infrastructure and drive economic growth. This call was made during the 2025 Middle East Depositories Associations Conference hosted by the Central Securities Clearing Systems, CSCS PLC, in Lagos. Let's turn to other stories in business for you. China appears to have quietly rolled back retaliatory tariffs of 125% on some semiconductors made in the United States. That's according to details provided by 3 import agencies in the Southern Technology Hub of Shenzhen, as Beijing tries to soften the blow of an ongoing trade war on its all-important tech industry. The exemptions apply to integrated circuits, also known as microchips or semiconductors, according to the agencies. They found out about the exemptions, which have not been officially announced. On April 12, China had raised its reciprocal tariffs to 125% for all goods originating from the U.S. in response to President Trump's move to hike levels and levies on Chinese goods to a sky-high 145%. On the foreign scene, a normally bustling border crossing between Tanzania and Malawi was noticeably quieter than usual as a result of an escalating regional trade row. From midnight, Tanzania banned the entry of all agricultural imports from Malawi and South Africa in response to what it sees as restrictions on some of its exports. South Africa has for years prohibited the entry of bananas from Tanzania. Malawi last month blocked imports of flour, rice, ginger, bananas, and maize from its northern neighbor. U.S. President Donald Trump says he is applying pressure on Russia to end the war in Ukraine, insisting that Moscow agreeing not to take over the entire country is a huge concession.
The U.S. president confirmed that the partnership between the United States and Norway remains strong, expressing admiration for the Prime Minister, Jonas Gahr Støre, and the country's king.
And we understand each other very well. I think we'll have no problem, because I like them. And I like your Prime Minister, and I like the way your government runs, and I respect the king. He's highly respected in Norway. It's a great thing, not an easy thing to do.
Trump also issued a rare rebuke of Russian leader Vladimir Putin, stating that he is not happy after Moscow fired a barrage of missiles and drones at Kyiv.
I didn't like last night. I wasn't happy with it. And we're in the midst of talking peace, and missiles were fired. And I was not happy with it. That's what I meant, and that's,
President Trump also said he was applying pressure on Russia to end the Ukraine war, insisting that Moscow agreeing not to take over the whole of Ukraine is a generous concession. Uyi Agmofwegbe, reporting for Global Television News.
More than 60 people have been reported killed in Gaza, and casualties continue to mount as Israel carries out early morning attacks on the Palestinian territory. The Palestinian Civil Defense and medics said 12 people from the same family in North Gaza's Jabalia were among those killed in the Israeli attacks. The health ministry in Gaza reports that 1,978 people have now been killed and 5,207 injured since Israel broke its ceasefire with Hamas on March 18, 2025. Now time to talk sports. Remo Stars ladies have made history by qualifying for the Nigeria Women's Football League Premiership Super 6 for the first time ever after a 2-2 draw away to Abia Angels in a rescheduled match. The result was enough to send the Ikene-based club into the playoffs with a match to spare in only their second season in the top flight. Originally scheduled, the match was halted in the 23rd minute due to heavy rainfall. Liverpool have one hand on the Premier League trophy as they seek the solitary point they need against struggling Tottenham on Sunday that would guarantee a record equaling 20th English title. A draw at an expectant Anfield would take Onslaught's men 13 points clear of Arsenal with just 4 games remaining, meaning they could not be caught. And still talking football, Real Madrid forward Vinicius Jr. could be facing disciplinary action from World Football governing body FIFA following allegations that he co-owns multiple football clubs while still actively playing, a move that may violate governing regulations. The Brazilian international has been instrumental in Real Madrid's campaign this season, consistently delivering standout performances as the team push for silverware. And that's a full circle on the news here on Global Television. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV, channel 365 and Star Times 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. You can download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our 247 broadcast. I am Uyi Agumofwegwe. Thank you especially for watching. We will see you again.